Right then, it's me innit, outside here innit. It's windy for those that are obsessed with the weather out here. Like, honestly, get a grip. What's the matter with you? Why are you asked about the weather at a place that we've not been allowed to go to for a year? I was just saying to Callum then, our trusty cameraman behind the camera there, it's been a yeehaw since I've been inside. I don't think I've gone a yeehaw without being inside there since I was 6. Or since before I was 6. I don't know how I feel about that. It's transfer review, you know what we're here for, so let's get into it. First up then, Pau Torres, Villarreal centre half. Apparently, this is in the evening news, so take it with a big dollop of shit that it comes with. United have got tabs on him. 45 million quid is the price. Good player. It's a good price. Do you know what? Let's just go off topic a second. Glazers have just announced a dividend for, what's it called? Old Avi, I think it was. One of the Glazers anyway. Just announced a dividend. £71 million, $100 million he's taking out in dividends, selling like 5 million shares. What does that mean on the United front? Apparently he's sorting out his family estate for the future. Fucking nice one. Cheers. How about sorting this estate out? 16 years the Glazers have owned this football club. This year they announced that they just, or this month, they've just announced that they had to take a loan of another 60 million quid on top of the 500 or 455 million quid that we already owe. In 16 years we've paid back almost £100 million a season in interest and debt refinancing costs. 1.6 billion. I'm going to do something the next week or two which looks into the sort of commercial power that Manchester United had prior to the Glazers and post the Glazers, and I think you'll be very interested in the results. So keep an eye out for that one. There's a myth going round about how the Glazers run this club. And I think the myth isn't that they're not good owners. I think the myth is that they're actually good owners. Because some people still believe that, and some people still believe that they are commercially competent. Barcelona just hit £1 billion revenue, or $1 billion revenue, whilst being $1 billion in debt, which is it's kind of wild. Why can't Manchester United do that? Manchester United had a lead on all of these clubs prior to 2005. And we've been asleep at the wheel. A lot of that is refinancing the Glazers' debt. It's not the club's debt, it's the Glazers' debt. But they put it on the club. So the club owns it. If they fail to make their payments over a long enough period of time, bank owns Old Trafford. Sells it off for whatever they want. Some say that might be the best thing that could happen to us, and I wouldn't tend to disagree with you, to be honest. When I saw that they'd taken out a £60 million loan just to pay the fucking bills, by the way, last week, last month, whenever it was, that tells me the club are not going to be having the sort of blockbuster summer that we know we need to have. Now, as a fan, I would love to see us. I'd love to stand here and go, fucking party time, boys and girls. We're signing Erling Haaland, bosh. We're signing Sancho, bosh. We're signing Upamecano. We're signing Saul Niguez, because you know how much I'd get my pants off. I'd love to say that we're doing that, because you know why? We need to do that. If this is a serious football club that seriously wants to compete on all fronts, that is what we need to do. But you know it, and I know it, that's not going to happen. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's getting fucking stiffed by this board. The appointment of John Murta and Darren Fletcher does absolutely fuck all for me. And I am going to do a video on that one as well, on here, probably in the next couple of weeks. Because I was going to do a reaction to it, but a reaction is a reaction. I'd rather do the digging. And I'm doing the digging, I'm talking to people. John Murta's worked at the club for a long time. There's a few people with differing opinions on him. I'm collecting those and I'll present what I find. The issue is, last summer should have told you, the summer before should have told you, the last summer that Jose had here should have told you, they are not interested in being the best team in the land. They're not interested in being the best team in the fucking city. They're not interested in competing for European honours. They're not interested in that. They're interested in paying their fucking interest and taking out big old dividends. That is what they're interested in. On the face of things, the appointment of Darren Fletcher and John Murta as technical director and football director sort of underlines that. That's my initial thoughts on that sort of appointment. They're going to do just enough. And just enough is backwards when you're dealing with people who go, how do we become the best XXX? You have to compete with that to overtake that. When you're not even competing for that, when you're saying, what can we get away with spending? You're never going to keep up. You have to, when you're dealing with the sorts of competitors that Manchester United are dealing with on a global scale, not just in this city, not just in this Premier League, you have to think absolutely wild thoughts of how do we become the absolute best football team in the land? The fact that we've invested so much money into the likes of Ahmad, into the likes of Palestri, into the likes of some of these 16 and 17 year olds that you're probably not even going to see for a couple of years, and some of them you will never see because they just won't make the grade. Talking the likes of, in recent years we've seen Pujmal and Nishan Burkhardt. Those were those sorts of signings. They didn't quite make the grade and they've been moved on. I don't really mind the club taking gambles on players when they're that sort of stature and that sort of price, because some of them can become your Paul Pogbas. Doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. Chong might be another one that falls by the wayside. Had a couple of games in the first team, wasn't good enough, gets moved on. You can afford to look in those markets when you're going to have a mega high turnover of those looking for your Ballon d'Or kid, if you like. Now, Ahmad might be that guy, he might not be that guy. It's well too early to say yet. The whole point of this little monologue here that I didn't even plan, I'm coming out here, and I think you guys are with me on this. I don't come here and tell you that we're signing people, because deep down I don't fucking believe it. I come out here and say 0 out of 10 and 1 out of 10 at fucking best, right? And half of the reason for that is because I don't believe in the administration of this football team. And I do believe in the coaching staff at this football team, and I believe that they wake up every fucking morning and go, what is the best that I can do? But when they're fighting with their hands tied, they're not going to be successful. And he might win a cup, and he's progressed us in the league, but when you look at our squad, and you look at City's squad, you look at fucking Chelsea's squad, and you go, we're never going to compete with that. We are never going to compete with that. Now, you've got options though, but I don't see United making I think it's too risky for United to go and try and sign these players. The likes of, you see what Leicester do? Leicester pull out some phenomenal players that maybe aren't even available to United at that prices, but then I question, what is the scouting department doing? And I question, why aren't we aware of these players? Liverpool got piped off into oblivion when they signed that fucking Minamino, whatever the fuck he's called, from, was it from Salzburg they got him from? Because he had a release clause United didn't even know about. He's been a pile of old wank, hasn't he? So sometimes these transfers do not come off. Sometimes they do, and you pull out a gem. But transfers are a 50-50 game. Even people go, oh, well, it wasn't for Pep. Well, it fucking was for Pep. I would say more than 50% of his transfers have been utter gash. People are just ignoring your fucking Nolitos and your Bravos and some of the utter pish that he's had, that he's been able to sign. The difference is, Pep signs a centre-half, signs John Stones for £50 million. He signs him, and he goes, nah, I'm not having him. Get me another fucking centre-half. So he gets him Laporte. He goes, I'm not fucking having him. Get me another centre-half. And he gets him fucking Diaz. And he's like, oh, I might be able to make this work. Oh, really? What a football genius you are. Fuck me. You give me enough of them fucking players, I'll win you a fucking League Cup, I promise you that. Not everyone's got the riches that Manchester City have got, but you can compete on other areas, and I don't see United being that intelligent with our buys. So I come out here every week, and I look at the transfers and the people that United are linked with, and we will sign someone, no doubt. And it'll become clearer closer to the time. I think United buzz off the chase. We see some... Bayern Munich are probably a great example of this. There's a little bit of a sniff of a rumour, and then they just fucking sign somebody. And you go, Jesus, they sorted that out, didn't they? I think half of the leagues that United are interested in someone is from fucking United. Because I think they like to be linked to a million different players. I think they buzz off the interaction of the mentions because it's interaction. Do you know what would get loads of interaction? The 21st fucking title that we won. Watch how fucking much that gets retweeted. If you want interaction, win another Champions League in the last fucking minute. Watch what happens. You'll melt the fucking internet. That's what everything about this football club. It's a football club. You make a good football club by being good at fucking football. First and foremost. I don't believe in this football club to be a fucking football club. It's a fucking debt refinancing fucking tower of cards for the Glazers. So, Pau Torres to United. Well, just fucking... Got to be real with you. I don't believe any of it. Fucking 0 out of 10 about that. Let's start there, shall we? Next up in players we're not signing, Erling Haaland. This is in team talk, which doubles down on the fact we're not signing him. Solskjaer said, I'll talk to him. All right. Does it mean we're signing him, or does it mean you're just going to fucking text him saying, are you up? What are you up to? Did you see the game last night? It might have been a throwaway comment. It probably was a throwaway comment. But what a lot of bollocks. Again, I honestly think United needs such an overhaul. I'd love Erling Haaland to be part of that. 20 years ago, United signed Juan Sebastian Veron, and honestly, I jumped up and down on my dad's sofa when we signed him. I was fucking out of my mind excited. We also signed Ruud van Nistelrooy, who I didn't know about the year before when he came and then his fucking knee fell off. But because that happened and the publicity around that, we was then again excited when we actually eventually signed him 12 months later. We signed Veron and Ruud van Nistelrooy in one fucking window, and we thought we was never going to lose a fucking game of football again. And this is on the back of us. Oh, by the way, we've just won the Champions League 2 years ago, and this is our third title on the bounce, and we've just added Ruud van Nistelrooy to it and Juan Sebastian Veron to it. Sit the fuck down the rest of the world. Now, it didn't work out. There's teething problems, there was all sorts of different reasons for it. There was different sorts of injuries and all the rest of that kind of shit. And it didn't work out for us. Arsenal won the league that year. We did manage to get one in 2003. But look at the mentality. We've won 3 on the bounce. We dominate English football. We've fucking won the Champions League. We've been a little bit unlucky in the knockout stages of the Champions League following that. But we go and sign the best fucking forward we can sign and the best midfielder that isn't called Roy Keane and Paul Scholes. That's what we went and did. Now what are we doing? Cavani, great signing on a free. But realistically, Erling Haaland is the guy that United need to go out and get. That is the Ruud van Nistelrooy of 2021. And he'll fucking score buckets and buckets and buckets of goals. But we're not going to fucking sign him. We're certainly not signing him this summer while we're taking fucking loans out to pay the bastard bills. 0 out of fucking 10. Right, and third up in the we're not fucking signing him, get your head out your ass, Jan Oblak. He's got a release clause of 100 million. He might as well have a release clause of fucking £4.95. We're not going to sign Jan Oblak. Now, for me, best goalkeeper in the world. Not even in question. Absolutely phenomenal. Multiple problems. You just give Dean Henderson a new fucking contract. You've got David De Gea, who's the best paid goalkeeper in the fucking world. Guess what you're not going to do? Buy another fucking goalkeeper. Not unless you're able to shift both of them off this summer. And guess what? You're not, because you're fucking inept. So, are we signing on Oblak, Steve? No, we're fucking not. Shall I read out the quotes anyway? I'll read out the quotes. That's what we're here for, innit? United are preparing to enter the goalkeeper market this summer, and I've been keeping tabs. What the fuck does keeping tabs mean? On a number of potential options. It includes Jan Oblak. It also includes Donnarumma, which, you know my thoughts on when people link United to a player that plays for a team that were playing that week. That's for SEO purposes. I'm wise to it. Now you are. And also Lille's Mike Maignan, who I reckon, if you butcher his name enough, sounds a little bit like Manon. I don't know why, but that made me chuckle. Well, that's in Sky Sports anyway. Jan Oblak, 103 million. Or, as per Stephen Howson of Stretford Paddock, not fucking happening, lads. 0 out of fucking 10. That was the ins. Sort of. This is the outs, which might be something in these. Stay tuned. David De Gea at number 1. So this article from 90th Minute sort of not only contradicts the Sky Sports one that I spoke about 4 seconds ago, but also itself. And they're saying that Manchester United see David De Gea as our long-term goalkeeper, but we are readying ourselves to enter the goalkeeper market should this little stint with him and Dino and paternity leave and the moons aligning not work out. Maybe I'll stop going to 90 minutes for my news. Because, honestly, lads, fix up. It's a load of fucking nonsense, isn't it? Do I think De Gea could leave United? Yeah. And I think that Dean Henderson could take his spot from him. And I think, again, there's more at play, more politically at play than meets the eye. Is it just a case of, is Dean Henderson better than him? Because I think there's a question mark over that. I don't think it's a certainty in either direction. The problem is that De Gea's on like 3-4 times as much as what Dean's going to be on. And that can either be a factor that keeps you in the team for the political reasons of someone at the board's going, hang on, we pay him how much, get him off the fucking bench and put him in there, get him at work, lazy bastard. Or it can mean, let's get him off the books and bring somebody else in. That's easier said than done though. Who the hell, and De Gea's not going to take a pay cut for anybody. Be like, no, go fuck yourself, I've got a contract. Who the hell is going to pay Dave what he's on, what he thinks he's going to be worth at the moment? Probably nobody. I reckon you're getting linked with Oblak because there's probably a lot of truth to De Gea wanting to go back to Spain. Obviously, if his missus is living there, he's now got a newborn, probably wants to spend time with them. Can't blame him for that. I completely understand that mindset and that mentality. Would that be enough for him to consider taking an enormous pay cut to be with his family? It could. It could actually be the reason that he would consider doing that. Maybe that's why we've been linked with Jan Oblak. They're thinking, well, you know, Atletico move on a massive signing for a massive fee, and they freeze up the sort of money or wages to bring in De Gea. It might happen. In this market though at the moment, a swap versus cash makes a little bit more sense than is shitloads of cash up front, because I just don't see those deals happening at all this summer. Certainly not at Manchester United. So De Gea out, I guess, is the sort of thing that we're rating here. Again, it might make sense, but there's nothing concrete in any of this, so we'll give it a 1 out of 10. Nemanja Matic in the mirror. Again, this one makes sense. Looks like Matic is certainly on the downslope of his career. His performances in the United shirt of late have been, I think, inconsistent would be fair. I think he's been all right and good at times, and sometimes looks well off the pace and looks older than his legs and his years are really giving him. There's some talk that he would be open to returning to Benfica, but it doesn't sound like there's anything on the cards at the moment. So that just sounds like a throwaway question, a throwaway sort of remark from someone, probably no basis on it. On the basis of that article, I can't give it more than a 1 out of 10. But again, player that's probably on not an inconsiderable weekly wage, someone that I'm sure United would like to move on so you could free up either some space in the wages or a slot in the first team. But it doesn't look like there's any suitors that look nailed on, anywhere near nailed on just yet. So 1 out of 10 for Matic at the moment. Next up, Cavani. This is in Sky Sports. This is more than Sky Sports actually. This went quite wild. After his old man was bumping his gums saying that he's off to Boca Juniors, or he'd like to play for Boca Juniors and he thinks he'll go there in the summer, and everyone at United went, fucking what? Hang on, where's this come from? Now, I think you got to take it with some sort of truth. I know a few agents, I know a couple of players, and if their family came out and said something like that, it's generally with their permission. Like, I can't imagine where Cavani's had to ring you up and go, fucking hell, Pop, I've just seen this in the papers, what are you doing, you maniac? There's got to be some truth in it. Now, the article mentions a 60% chance. Anyone tell me how they calculate this? What are the factors that give you 60% as a result? Please tell me. I'm really, really genuinely interested to know how you can pull out a 60% figure. What are the variables and the factors there are to give you a 40% chance of that not happening? I want to know how you do the math. Show me your workings out. Thank you. Now, Cavani immediately on this breaking, for me, this was damage limitation more than anything. He posted a picture of himself in the United shirt and said, proud to play for the shirt. I like it, but I have to go with the leak being his old man. I think there's probably some truth in that. I don't think he's looking for a fatter contract at United. I think his time at United's probably been soured a little bit by what happened over the stupid ban where he did absolutely nothing wrong but still got banned and fined. It was a piss take. I think Solskjaer sort of alluded to it. Yeah, maybe we'll try and convince him when the weather gets a bit nicer, because I'm going to be honest with you, my fucking hands are freezing. I get it, mate. I get it, Edson. I get it. I understand. So I think this was always going to be a short-term appointment anyway, a short-term transfer, a quick fix. It's not going to be the long-term target. But again, we've got expensive taste, but we're shopping in Aldi. You know, we're trying to pick up free transfers and stuff like that. Are we prepared to pay the Erling Haaland sort of fees which we need to pay to be the club that we pretend we are on social media? I've said it time and time again. United are an Instagram model. We want all the trappings of success without the fucking work and everything behind it. So I think there's probably something in this. Cavani to Boca Juniors. Maybe they've looked at his wages and gone, fuck that noise. But maybe not. Maybe there is actually something in this, and I can understand it as a South American player. I'm sure you would love to play for Boca Juniors. So I can't give this a 0. I'm going to have to, should we give it a 6 out of 10? That's like 60%, isn't it? Fucking check me out with maths and shit. Didn't know that was happening, did you? On a Saturday morning. Get a grip. Right, that's me. I'm going to get my hands warm. I'm fucking depressed with the Glazers, lads, top and bottom of it. I just don't believe in them. I don't believe in them. For 15 years, I've been promised and lied to, and I just don't see them ever once having the bottle. Even when Sir Alex Ferguson was here, the guy had like a fucking negative net spend. The guy made money on transfers. Look at what we did the 5 years prior to them joining and the 5 years post them joining. We did manage to go and become Champions League winners, and we did win 3 titles in a row. I think only Michael Carrick was a new signing post 2005 that had any hand in that whatsoever. They're not here for us, they're here for them. Subscribe. I'll see you in a bit.